Today's video is inspired by YouTube suggested topic, from pre-approval to closing, a comprehensive timeline of moving to North Texas. This is based on the videos that are posted on Google and YouTube, and I'm here to tell the story because there are mistakes that you can avoid while moving to North Texas, or there are some strategies that you need to learn about buying a home here in North Texas. And I do have a 5-step process. That's why YouTube suggested a timeline and a step-by-step process of assisting clients moving to North Texas, buying their home. And we're going to talk about different challenges. So let's talk about pre-approval. When you're going through a pre-approval process, you're basically deciding where you want to live, what kind of home you're looking to buy in terms of how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, suggested square footage, what school districts, all that come into play in terms of choosing the area that you want to buy a home in. The second part of it is the financing options, which is what I'm going to talk about in terms of my most recent videos. Because when you get that pre-approval, you have identified what kind of financing route you're going to go. If it's an FHA loan, you're expected to put a 3.5% down. And if you watch some of my videos, I talked about there's a lot of down payment assistance that are available right now for you to be able to buy your home. But now let's talk about a scenario. You found a home that you like. We already decided that we're going through a pre-approval process and we're taking down payment assistance. So when you take down payment assistance, the reality always is the interest is going to be higher. We go find this home, you love the home, and we get the quotes. Let's say our pre-approval was a 6.72 rate. All right. We find the home, it's in your price range. We talk about the payments. Now at the 6.72 rate, let's say your mortgage is about $3,800 or $3,600. All right. So now your budget is actually to keep it under $3,000 or closer to $3,000. And we found this home and it's a new build. So we like the home, but we don't like the mortgage. So what is our situation here? What's the solution for us here? So we got to have an open mind and say, what are the incentives are the builders offering right now? So the incentives that are available from the builders is you can have a special rate. On this scenario, it was a 4.9 rate. All right, so we get the 4.9 rate, but this is just strictly FHA with no down payment assistance. But here's another catch. With the special rate of 4.9, I can also negotiate an extra amount of money for closing costs. So I can get another $10,000 to $12,000 for closing costs. So on your scenario, we have to dig back and say, if we want to buy a home, because when we're negotiating a home every time, it's not always about the price of the home. It's usually about how much mortgage am I going to pay every month. So on this scenario, I had to talk to my client and say, if I can get the 4.9 rate, which means that we have to give up the down payment assistance program, because the 4.9 rate does not include down payment assistance. So what else, or what other resources out there can the clients access to be able to get the down payment that they need? So there's always options. You can withdraw from your 401k. You can get a gift from your relative or something like that. For this scenario, we withdraw from the 401k. So we get the 401k, we use it as down payment and negotiate the incentives towards closing costs, which covers that. And guess what we have? Now, instead of signing up at a 6.72 rate, we're signing at a 4.9 rate. Now we are able to bring our mortgage down closer to your budget of about $3,000 or a little bit less than $3,000. So the significance of moving from a 6.72 rate to a special rate financing of 4.9 is the open mind that my client had to have. So as you get the pre-approval and as you go towards closing, you have to have an open mind and you have to have a strategy of how can I move forward to buy the home that you like. Because buying a home is a very serious business. We're talking about a 30-year commitment. And when you go out there and you find the home and you fall in love with it, you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that you move your family to that home. So that was a win, a switch from the pre-approval we had to what the market was providing. special finance rate, negotiating for those closing costs. It moves the move forward. Another scenario is we go find this home. It's a remodeled home. It's an older home, but it's still remodeled. But when we do the inspection, we find out that the roof is needed. We need to replace the roof or we need to fix the roof. But guess what happens? So when I negotiate deals with my clients or with the sellers every time, I do ask for things like, I want you to pay for title policy, and I'm asking anywhere from 4%, from 3.5% to 4.5% for closing costs. But here I'm taking a chance because some sellers will come back and say, I will give you the closing costs that you asked for, but I'm not paying for the title policy. On this scenario, I was able to get my clients or the sellers to pay for the title policy and to give me 4.5% for closing costs. So now I had money. In fact, I had access. But the deal is my client was also getting down payment assistance. So we were good in terms of moving forward with the closing. But guess what happens? We do the inspection. We find out that we need a roof. And my client come back and say, and the seller come back and say, you know what, guys, if you guys need to have the roof, I need at least $3,000 to $4,000 back from what I already gave you to move the ball forward. So my client say, I love the house, but guess what? Because I had taken a chance in the beginning to get both the title policy and to get the closing cost of 4.5%, I had room to be able to give some of that money back for my client to be able to get the roof. So that is how we were able to move that ball forward. So I give up at least 1.5, which still give my client enough money to be able to close because the seller was already paying for title policy. So when I mentioned in my step number 3 that I have a step called skill negotiations and careful over management, that is how we manage. We create a situation that we know that after moving to step number 4, which is property evaluations and readiness services, we're going to have some surprises of what needs to get fixed to make sure that this home is right for my client. So moving to North Texas, we are here to help you. My name is Sam Limo. I'm a Zillow Premier Agent and also I work for Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate with Winans in Dallas. I'm here to assist you while you're moving to North Texas. And as YouTube was right, let's talk about the journey of getting pre-approved, move towards moving to closing, and the challenges that most clients can face, and also the opportunities that's available in this market. So the opportunity here is if you're looking for a new home, there's incentives out there that you can lower the rate. There's incentive out there, negotiations that you can get closing costs. If you're buying a used home, there is also opportunities about down payment assistance. And also you can also assess your opportunity of what kind of resources you can reach to or have access to, like withdrawing from your 401k to use it. So don't waste no time. Let's guide you step by step buying your new home. Again, I'm Sam Limo. I'm a Zillow Premier Agent. So if you're shopping on Zillow, please look up for me, Samwel Limo, and select me as your agent. And you will be able to directly request tours from me directly. And I'll be able to schedule those tours for you. So move to North Texas. Let's find you the best deal and help you start building generational wealth through home ownership. Thank you and stay blessed.